The Philadelphia 76ers have been staples of the Eastern Conference's elite tier of teams for 3 straight years now. Well, at least on paper that is. Because let's be real, it's just hard to imagine a team with two super talented and physically gifted athletes in Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons not making at least the top 4 of the Eastern Conference year in and year out. And with both guys combining for a total of 45 playoff games under their belt and 5 All-Star appearances together, it seems easy to assume that this team is going to be in good hands for the foreseeable future. But with Philadelphia's recent first-round exit via Boston Celtics sweep, coupled with their past failures to get out of the second round beginning in the 2017 to 2018 season, some fans of quote-unquote the process itself have started to wonder, can Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons really make it far together? Is it even more apparent now that their playstyles just won't cut it if the 76ers eventually want to win an NBA championship? Well, the thing is, this tandem for sure hasn't hit their primes yet, and it's safe to argue that they have tons of good seasons left in the tank. However, beats and pieces of failures can actually hit a team pretty hard, especially when the expectations are kinda high. But what is actually left to do for GM Elton Brand to make sure that this team doesn't end up without the home court advantage in the East again next season? And further, should the team seriously consider trading one or both of Embiid and Simmons and change the franchise's direction altogether? And if that's not the case, could it be that now is the time for the 76ers management to pull the trigger and trade for another proven franchise-changing player, who just might be NBA point guard Chris Paul, just as a number of basketball analysts suggest? What's good, guys? My name is Riro Creer, and in this video, let's try to evaluate if Chris Paul could really be that one final piece to complete the Philadelphia 76ers process. Entering the 2019 to 2020 season, Sixers fans might have thought that this could be the year which they would get to move past the second round, considering how they were literally a Kawhi Leonard game winner away from entering the Eastern Conference Finals. And well, based on their offseason moves, not a lot of people could question the team's chances as they secured a blossoming two-way wing in Josh Richardson, while also resigning forward Tobias Harris to a 5-year $180 million deal, and of course, acquiring the services of proven veteran big Al Horford via a 4-year $109 million contract, which actually kinda confused a lot of fans who thought that such was an overpay considering Horford's age and whatnot. But well, at least there was some kind of optimism for this team moving forward, as they have definitely put up a great and probably a championship-ready starting 5 despite the departure of team glue guy Jimmy Butler. But as we all know, the Sixers still weren't able to make it further with this 5-man lineup as they ended the season with a 43-30 record, which was just good for 6th in the East. And for real, this lineup, which seemingly had all the tools to generate any kind of offensive production needed, actually just ranked as the 17th best offense in the league. And this ranking also happens to be the worst offensive rating of the 76ers since they have drafted Ben Simmons. And what's more staggering is that of all two-man combos to play at least 1,300 minutes this season, the Ben Simmons-Joel Embiid tandem registered a very poor 0.6 net rating, which is a very drastic drop from their 15.5 rating during the 2017 to 2018 season, which rating actually placed them as the best two-man combination in the league at that time. And by simply looking at their very promising run during the 2017 to 2018 season, I would say that Simmons and Embiid actually impacted the team on both ends of the floor well during their first year together simply because they had great spacing around them. And obviously, that spacing came in the form of those 3 other guys in their starting lineup such as JJ Redick, Robert Covington, and Dario Saric, who all shot above 36% from deep that season. Plus, they also had fully developed outside shooters like Ersan Ilyasova and Marco Bellinelli coming off the bench. And all those spacing surely helped both Embiid and Simmons thrive, as they can just easily kick out the ball to find the open man from deep whenever the driving lanes are clogged. Well, you can blame the Sixers 1-2 punch all you want, but the truth is, without such exceptionally good shooters around them, Embiid and Simmons won't be that good together on the court no matter how potent scorers they may be. To put it simply, the other pieces that Embiid and Simmons currently have around them just didn't make it easier for them to generate offense. And though they have replaced Jimmy Butler with other legit defenders like Horford and Richardson, even that wasn't enough as the team just finished with the 12th best defense in the league this past season. Well, Now that the season is done, it's safe to say that Josh Richardson wasn't exactly the 3-and-D guy that they were expecting him to be, as he shot a mediocre 33.2% from behind the arc, which is way below his averages during his past 3 seasons. Al Horford, on the other hand, is another guy who was supposed to help them stretch the floor. However, his 2019 to 2020 season only ended with him putting up career lows in both field goal shooting and 3-point percentage. And lastly, Tobias Harris was supposed to be the team's volume scorer. Well, that was the thought when they resigned him to that massive 5-year extension, and well, yeah, it's true that he's been putting up 19.5 points for the season on a decent 47% shooting clip, but as a fan, wouldn't you question why this guy is being paid an average of $36 million a year if the team could have gotten someone else that could impact the team better on both ends of the floor? Yeah, those are just some of the reasons why the Sixers haven't been much better after that heartbreaking Game 7 loss to the Raptors. This now leads to the question of whether or not a proven floor general and veteran two-way threat in Chris Paul could be the ultimate franchise game changer who would finally make the games of Embiid and Simmons meet halfway. And given the guy's history with all the teams he's been at, there are so many positive signs to look at if you're a Sixers fan. It's obvious that the number one concern for any Sixers fan when hearing about a potential Chris Paul trade would be his age. Well, aside from his massive contract of course, but considering that CP3 is now on the wrong side of 30, he proved that he's still an all-NBA caliber player as he finished the 2019 to 2020 season with convincing averages of 17.6 points, 5 rebounds, and 6.7 assists on 59% shooting while leading a largely underestimated Oklahoma City Thunder squad to the 5th seed in the stacked Western Conference. Plus, the guy has played a respectable 70 games the whole season, which is actually the most he's played in the last 4 years, and well, that's quite a good indication for anyone eyeing the veteran guard services. And if you wonder how his fit would look alongside Simmons and Embiid, I'd say that he's just what they need to utilize the strengths of both superstars. Well, having CP3 on the team would obviously give them another potent and mature playmaker, and in fact, he'd be the best playmaker that they would have played with. But more than that, having Paul would allow the team to unlock their not-so-explored potential in the pick and roll, considering that they can now use Simmons more as a potential screener, with the ball being on CP3's hands a huge chunk of the time. And well, given that we've already seen how talented Simmons is playing off the ball or when utilizing his length by cutting to the basket or receiving the ball in the elbow, having Paul on the lineup as a primary passer can just create wonders for Philly's offense, considering that the guy can do it all, from attracting defenses, hitting any type of jumper, or even slashing to the hoop. Plus, more than anything, there are just too many advantages in having a team with 2 high IQ playmakers who can see the floor very well at all times. And of course, we've already seen a lot of times how Chris Paul makes big men look much better, say Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan during his Lob City days for example. I see the same happening for Embiid, as he can really benefit from a lot of easy passes that CP3 can just throw at him on the rim. And of course, Chris Paul is one of the best closers in basketball who you'd want on your team if you want instant offense during crunch time. You can just imagine both Embiid and Simmons pressuring the rim when Chris Paul suddenly decides to create his own shot and hit that steady mid-range jumper. And well, you can say that trading for Paul's remaining $85 million contract for the next 2 years could have serious implications for the team's salary cap, and well, this is where GM Elton Brand needs to work something in case of such trade happening. But as I see it, having CP3's remaining contract isn't that bad, considering the immediate impact and value that he could bring to the team. Plus, upon his contract expiring in 2022, Embiid and Simmons would still be in their prime years, and by that time, the Sixers should have enough cap space to sign other pieces to build around their 1-2 punch, or if worst comes to worst, they could choose to trade everyone and start the process all over. Most certainly, I think that given the right offers for Paul, OKC General Manager Sam Presti won't hesitate to look and shave off his salary off the books and grab more pieces to propel their so-called rebuild. This is why now is the right time for Philly to go after the point guard. To talk specifics, Al Horford's large salary would surely be included in such trade because it offsets CP3's contract in a salary dump. Plus, the Sixers most likely would need to throw in a young player or two like Matisse Thybulle. Plus, Josh Richardson and another first-round pick for them to convince OKC to give up Paul. And well, OKC would most likely also need to throw in someone like Mike Muscala or another asset just to sweeten the pot for Philly a little bit. Well, obviously for Sixers fans, it would suck to give up a young guy like Thybulle who has already showed up so much two-way potential this early in his career. But if you consider the immediate trade-off that Chris Paul can give the team, then such deal should be a no-brainer, considering how Simmons and Embiid haven't really seemed to figure out the best way to play together after the past 3 seasons. And with the growing competition around the top tier of Eastern Conference teams with the emergence of tandems like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, or even Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo duo in Miami, it's kinda hard to currently picture Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons going toe-to-toe against those star team-ups in a future 7-game series just by looking at Simmons' lack of an outside shot. And if the Sixers management really are intent on keeping their 2 stars moving forward while staying out of mediocrity, then trading for CP3 should be their number 1 option, as having him on the team would propel the Sixers into immediate contender status without so much questions asked. Thank you for sticking until the end of the video, and if you've enjoyed this one, please help me promote my content by subscribing to the channel. It would be a great help for me as a new content creator, and if you want to hear about anything NBA on the channel, then feel free to hit me up on the comment section to let me know. Also, don't forget to smash the like button, or better yet, share the video so we can spread the word. Again, this is Riro and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.